Yo, what's going on, guys? Koi here. Today we're going to be talking about Anime Saga. This is the new player guide, and I'm going to break it down for you so you understand what you're stepping into. First things first, I'm going to be putting down little timeline tags down below so you guys can skip to whatever system you feel like you want to just skip to in the future or right now if you're just looking for certain information on the very specific things. So, yeah, take a look at that if you want to. But I'm going to go through this one by one and explain everything that you're going to be seeing in the lobbies, and then next, everything that you're going to be seeing in game. And then I'm also going to be explaining after that all the systems in the game, how a lot of these systems work. Then I'm going to go ahead and pretty much do a whole deep dive on everything, pretty much from the systems and what you should be looking into whenever you actually start the game. All right. So, as the first part of the actual new player guide, I'm just going to be showcasing everything that you can see in the lobby. They have the play section. This right here is actually from the raid event shop. You'll be obtaining tickets from doing the raid. We'll go over that in just a second. The reroll systems over here, where you have traits on this side, AFK and stats on this side. You can also see most of these areas if you click on the areas tab, as you can see. Over here in the middle, you have the summoning area right here. We'll go over how summoning works in the game in just a moment. Over here, we have the level rewards system. And the level rewards here are pretty much levels that you can obtain every 5 levels. We have the shop system and the emote system over here, where you can buy emotes and then also obtain stuff from the shop. I'll go over what this stuff and how this stuff works in a minute. We have the crafting system and evolution system over here. And there's also group rewards that you guys could take a look at over here. I'll also be going over the Game Pass system and everything in this video in its own tab. But now that we got that out of the way, now let's go ahead and talk about the UI. Now, the reason I want to break down the UI is because some people might get it misunderstood on what some of the stuff looks like in-game compared to what it actually does. So first things first, down here you'll see some emblems that you can see, and these are pretty much a brand new system, pretty much a trait system that offers passives depending on the type of characters that are in this very specific genre. So for instance, this is the pirate section, which pretty much as long as you have 2 of the same type of character from the same genre, then you will obtain the passives from said genre. There's a Dragon Ball passive here, as you can see. I do not have this active because I do not have 2 characters in this. So it does not activate unless you have 2 characters for that specific reason. If you go to your profile, you'll see that you have the ability to obtain titles, and it also shows you all the stats that you've pretty much committed in the game. Some of them are still a little bugged out right now, but that's probably going to get fixed during release. We have the quests tab. Now, the quest tab is going to be a little more unique, I would say, compared to some UIs that you see in other games. For instance, if you click on it, you will see that it opens up the tab, pretty much the description, the rewards that you could obtain, and whether you claimed it or not. Then, on ones that you have not seen, you can hover over it just to see what the description entails, or click it yourself, and click it if you have obtained said task. There are going to be daily ones that wash out throughout the day. There's going to be weekly ones that have washed out through the week, as you can see. Since the game did just release, the weeklies are not set to reset until after the 7-day week. They have the infinite system, where after every single 5 infinite floors that you do during this time, you'll gain a fat stack of gems every single time you continue going forward into the infinite system, which I will divulge into in just a minute. Now, inventory, you'll see a lot of stuff in your inventory. I'm just going to explain some of this stuff. For instance, that you have materials that you can obtain through crafting, and then you also have EXP items that you can get through the story, and then tickets that you get from the raid mode. Now, I'll explain a little more in the raid mode in its own deep dive section. Of course, we already talked about how they have an areas tab where you could click and it will teleport you to the near areas, where you could take a look at the ones that you need to go to very specifically without having to traverse over the map. Honestly, the map's pretty small, which I do like. There's not much travel you actually have to do to go around, so that's just more of a tidbit. You have the units tab, which has a unequip all section, a sell section, where you can sell units that you already own for a certain amount of cash, and you also have the ability to equip and check out the units themselves. Now, whenever we take a look at the units themselves, you have the feed section where you will be able to feed them the very specific treats in the game that give you EXP. And then you also are able to go into the characters tab, lock them, and view them. Now, when you do view a characters tab, you will be able to see whatever traits they have, whatever info they have about the character, and then, of course, the amount of takedowns said character has done, and then also the stats on the character as of that moment. The three main stats in the game as of this moment are damage, cooldowns, and HP. Now, the other thing that you guys need to worry about is traits and stuff, but we'll divulge into that in just a moment. The last UI bit that I do want to talk about is pretty much the settings section, which is actually down here on the bottom right of your screen. As you can see, you could do the skip summon animations, the disable damage indicators, and visual effects. If you guys struggle with that, they also have the ability to turn off music here and sound effects from damage here. Now, one of the things... Oh, darn, I almost forgot. There is a code section. If you go to the traits section, I almost forgot about that. Let's go ahead and go into the area. I believe they don't have a spot for this, but if you go to traits, and then right over here, you'll see next to the leaderboards is the code section where you can talk to Farron and then pretty much do codes there. Now, after that, yeah, I guess that kind of does it with the UI. The only thing I won't talk about is the shop. I'll divulge into that in just a bit. This is your player EXP. That's quite obvious, though. So next, I do want to talk about some of the systems, and one of those systems being summoning, because it's a lot more unique than you thought it would be. If you guys have played Anime Adventures in the past, you will understand this system a lot easier, but let me divulge into this to really help you understand how this works. For instance, this does not mean that these characters are guaranteed at these rates. It's actually quite the opposite. This is just whatever the rates are. This is an enhanced rate for that specific subsection in the index. Now, the way that this actually works is it's a 0.1% chance to get said characters, but a enhanced chance to get the very specific featured unit. Same thing for legendaries, as you can see here. Same thing for epics and for all rares in the game. So whenever you do a multi-summon, you'll notice that you'll get every character in the game, but the enhanced ones are the ones that you might get more often. So you still have the way to obtain category and other stuff like that, other legendaries and such, if you break into this section and really just start going crazy on the rolls. You'll notice that you'll get different legendaries and sometimes even a different mythic than the original mythic that's shown in the banner. Now, one little tidbit I would like to say is that you have a higher chance of getting this legendary than this legendary. So if you do roll and you want to get the legendaries, you're not going to get Inosuke very often compared to getting Gohan. I don't know why that's a thing. It's just more of like a, obviously something that is most likely a bug. Next, we're going to go ahead and dip into the shop section. Now, the shop section is very specific. They obtain items through this, where you can get items for crafting by selling characters and taking that gold. Selling characters for gold or doing the raid for gold will give you lots and lots of gold that you can use to spend over here and buy the very specific evolution items you need. Now, after this part, I will break into evolutions because this is very, very important and kind of hard to understand. Over here, we have items where you can pretty much get all EXP items. I would not recommend this because honestly, they are overpriced for how much EXP they actually give you. Now, let's go ahead and break into evolution. So whenever you evolve said character, you will have the ability to evolve mostly mythical characters in the game. Maybe they will add another subsection of maybe legendaries getting evolutions in the future. But as of this moment, we do not know. Of course, the game is brand new. The evolution system is going to allow you to get a nice buff to whatever stats that you're doing for the character. So they'll only go up one rank, sadly, not two. So whenever they go up the rank, as you can see, it will go up by one. So it's recommended that you actually make sure you get the best possible stats before actually evolving the character to get the most out of those stats in general. Now, as you can see here, there are items that you can buy, such as soup and keys, where you can buy them or obtain them from the raids, or you can craft them yourself. Now, the only ones that are craftable are very specific craftable pieces for said units. Now, I'm going to be entirely honest with you. This is a very expensive evolution system. As you can see, I'm going to require 2 soups, one for the crafting, no, 3 soups. 3 for the crafting of this, and then 3 for the crafting of these, no, 2 for the balls, and then 1 for the character himself, which you saw over there. They're also going to require some EXP items, and then mostly items for the crafting piece. Once you get that, you take those and you pretty much put them on the character. As you can see, then you can evolve the unit for a specific amount of gold. Very, very expensive system. So if you are going to choose, a very specific character to work on, that's the way you want to do it. Just make sure that if you're going to invest in a character, make sure it's a character that you actually care about. Now, next we're going to go ahead and dip into the traits system. I'm going to go into a deeper dive on the traits system, but I'll just kind of showcase what this kind of looks like whenever you actually do it for the first time. Now, it is going to cost 1 trait crystal every single time. These could be obtained from every game mode, mostly from your quests, and also from codes, and then of course from the raid system as well. As you can see, there is an index right here which will show you all the available ones that you can get. If you want to know which ones are the best that you can obtain, I'll kind of go over that in a video before this even releases. I also have a progression video and a tier list video that you guys could check out. I'll kind of throw that there for you guys. So, next is the AFK system and the stats system. AFK system is very obvious. Inserting non-copyright music clip, yada, yada, yada. Cool. Because for some reason they just want to hit you with copyright. You can gain gems, gold, and traits for every 2 hours. So as you can see, you get gems for every 5 minutes, gold for every 5 minutes, and this stuff can be boosted if you have VIP or premiums. And then from here, you could also return back to lobby. I do not know if it kicks you out after a certain amount of time. I would always recommend using an auto clicker for that in general. For the stats system, there are 2 different ticket systems that they use in this game, such as the red ticket, which means roll all, and then the very specific legendary scroll, which will allow you to choose the very specific stat. I'll kind of show you guys what this kind of looks like on Gohan. As you can see, it will cost you blue tickets whenever you actually do this. And as you can see, I got S+ right here. I don't know if there's anything higher than S+. I have not gotten anything higher so far as of playing the game. But most likely there's got to be like triple S or something crazy. Besides that though, let's go ahead and dip into the pretty much the game now. So now we're going to talk about the different game modes that exist in the game. Whenever you press play, you'll be introduced to 3 of them. Now, I will let you know that you will not be able to play Infinity till level 15, and you will not be able to play Raids until level 25. So this is literally based off your player level. When you do the story, there's not much that you can obtain from the story besides EXP equipment, and doing a harder difficulty does not change the amount of rewards that you actually get, sadly, as of this moment of recording. In the Infinite mode, you will be able to introduce a lobby of people that can join you in the Infinite mode as well, just like multiplayer in the base story. But the more people you have, the easier this will be. So do make sure that you try to do as much as you can. But Infinite mode is probably the most lackluster game mode in the entire game. I'm going to be entirely real. The real moneymaker is raids. Now, the way that raids work is you're going to be able to defeat a whale, and I'll showcase what that kind of looks like on the screen. You'll be able to defeat a whale by doing a damage check. It's a damage check. So all you have to do is bring your highest damaging units in the game and then pretty much do as much damage as possible to obtain the most amount of rewards as possible in the game that you can get. And the rewards will be completely randomized between resources like gems, money, and crafting items, even the mythical ones. And then after that, the last tidbit you will get are these event currency. Now, let's talk about the event. The event itself is, they let you see what the amount that you actually have to spend ticket-wise is whenever you hover over the buy. So if you are lost and you don't understand how that part works, you could hover over and be like, okay, this is going to cost me 12 tickets. As you can see, I just bought a trait reroll for 12 tickets. All right. Well, that pretty much does it with the new player guide. I hope this helped you out. If you guys have any more questions, let me know down below. I'll see you guys later. Take it easy. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And peace out.